Before you spend $150 on this Ninja cold press juicer, let's find out if it's actually worth your money. Because if it's not faster, cheaper, or better tasting than store-bought juice, why bother? So first, we'll make orange juice, comparing its price and taste to Tropicana's. And finally, we'll test a more complex berry recipe to see if it really doesn't clog as it claims. But first, what does the juicer come with? So obviously the main piece is our motor base, and it comes with the juicing spout pre-assembled, but one thing you can do is swap out the filter inside of here. This is the black filter, and it has super tiny holes on it so you get less pulp. But if you want more pulp, you've got the orange filter here with larger holes. I prefer my orange juice with pretty much no pulp, so I'm gonna stick with the black filter. Then this little piece twists on, which is apparently gonna let out all the pulp. Just twists into place right there. The whole thing clicks right into our juicer here and locks in place. This food tray sits right on top there. And then underneath our juicer, we put our cup to catch the juice, and in the very front to catch the pulp out of here. And then you're all set up. It's ready to use. You've got this little thing that can push the fruit or vegetables down into here if they get stuck, but that's it. So overall, there's a lot of pieces, but it assembles super quickly, and honestly, it's pretty small for what it is. I don't think it would take up too much space, especially disassembled. But none of that matters if it can't make orange juice while you're half asleep stumbling out of bed in the morning. So I've got a bunch of oranges peeled and quartered, and I'm gonna see how many oranges it takes to make about a cup of juice and how long it takes. So I'm gonna hit the start button here to get it started, and it's actually running relatively quiet, at least until I put some fruit in. And I'll just start shoving my oranges into here a quarter at a time. Use this to help them down. And there is apparently an anti-drip lever here too, so you've gotta make sure you open that or you won't get any juice to flow. All right, let's keep feeding this oranges, and I'll let you know how many oranges it actually takes to fill about a cup. Honestly, this process is super simple. Oh, and look, we're getting our first pulp falling out too. And about 60 seconds or so of juicing later, I have about 10 ounces of orange juice, and I used 2 large oranges to get this much juice. And here is all over the leftover pulp, which apparently you can use in like bread recipes and things like that. But I'm also curious to see how much pulp that small hole filter actually left in it, so let's put it through a strainer. Here we go. I'm definitely expecting a little bit to be caught, but hopefully not too much. And immediately, I'm not seeing a ton, although it's getting a little clogged up in there, so there's probably some pulp. And that's our pulp that's caught in the strainer. So it's not nothing, but it is a pretty small amount for an entire glass of orange juice. So could I make fresh orange juice in the morning without any real thought to it? Honestly, as long as your oranges are already peeled and quartered, the answer is definitely yes. It would take maybe 1 to 2 minutes to plug this thing in, assemble it, and make the fresh orange juice, so I find it super easy. But how does the orange juice taste compared to our store-bought orange juice? But since the color difference is pretty obvious between these two, let's not be biased. I'm throwing on a blindfold, and my wife is gonna mix them up so that I don't know which one is which. And now let's get to tasting, starting with this one. Okay, let's compare it to our other one. There's a world of a difference between the two. To me, this one has just a slight artificial taste that I don't really know how to put my finger on how to describe it, but I think if you've had bottled orange juice, you know what I'm talking about. This one is just perfectly smooth, perfectly clean. You don't really get any graininess or any flavor other than just a pure hit of fresh orange juice. So this one has to be our fresh orange juice that we made. Now, one thing to note is that our fresh orange juice cost me about $4 for the 2 large oranges, and the bottle of orange juice at my store, which was 11 ounces versus 10 ounces, so pretty comparable, cost me about $3. But I will say, I think the $1 difference makes significantly better orange juice for sure. Now, that was just a simple test. So what if we make it a bit more complicated and make a juice out of 5 different fruits instead, to see if it really doesn't clog? Now, this recipe starts with 1 cup of strawberries. Throw them in a few at a time and help it down if I need to. It looks like they're kind of falling through completely on their own. It's actually really easy to get the full cup of strawberries going through. I left our tab open, closed rather. There we go. Next up is 1 cup of pineapples. Throw it into the top the same way and just hope it falls down nice and easily, which honestly not having any issues with shoving the fruit down right now. And it looks like I might be moving too fast because some of the juice is really kind of just getting in there right now. Okay, if I help push it down, that juice is really flowing though. Now, one thing to note, it does say to put in fruit slowly. I went a little bit too quick. It had to give it time to catch up, but now we're ready for the next ingredient. Next up, we're going back with oranges, and I'm just putting one full orange into here. And I'll give it a little more time to actually kind of work through each fruit. And this thing definitely works a bit slow. I mean, I can still see juice coming, so I'm trying to give it time, but it takes a little bit of time to process all this fruit for sure. Next up, let's get in half a cup of blueberries. And these, I assume I can just pour pretty much all of them at once. Yeah, they don't even fill up the top part there, so let's get those crushed down. And last up is half a cup of raspberries. Same deal here, I'm just gonna kind of pour all of them at once and hope for the best. I will say the food tray on the top is really nice to catch all of the fruit so that you don't have to shove it down a small hole. And after about 7 or 8 minutes of juicing, this is fully ready. Now, I will say the recipe told me I was gonna get 8 ounces of juice. I got about 24 ounces. So I don't know what I did wrong with the recipe. I measured in ounces, but here we go. 24 ounces. It cost me about $6 of fruit for this entire cup here. So honestly, not that bad for how much juice it is, but let's taste test it. So smooth, so fresh, and none of the ingredients are super overpowering. They just come together into this delicious berry flavor overall. I could absolutely drink this every day. So now that we've thrown a ton of fruit into here, how quickly can we get this thing cleaned up? So our pulp is all caught here. We can obviously throw this into a container or do whatever we want with it and then just quickly rinse out this piece. Our measuring cup, kind of same deal. We can just quickly rinse it out or just throw it in the dishwasher. Starting with our pulp container, which obviously caught all of the mess on the outside here. This can just be thrown into another container or throw this right into your fridge or whatever you want to do with it. And then to clean it, it goes right in the dishwasher. With our juice cup, we can drink this all, save it, or whatever, and then once again, dishwasher. Our little shover piece and our food tray, guess what? Dishwasher safe. Our pulp extractor, apparently has some juice left in it, so that's a little bit of a mess, but guess what? You guessed it, dishwasher safe. And apparently you should disassemble this over your sink or something like that because a little bit of mess is left behind. But our filter that we used, dishwasher safe. And our actual extraction pieces here can fully be separated as well. So the rotor comes out. This is the little base piece. Both of these, the final 2 pieces, dishwasher safe. Our base here is the only piece that's not dishwasher safe and pretty much just have to wipe down the bottom piece here and get rid of the small mess. So yes, there's a lot of pieces, but thankfully all of them can just be quickly rinsed and thrown into the dishwasher, and the base should be really easy to clean. And overall, the gadget didn't really clog too much, so I guess the never clog is true. So should you buy the Ninja cold press juicer or just stick to store-bought juice? If you're someone who likes drinking fresh juice, or maybe you want to start drinking more fresh juice, this is absolutely the way to do so. The store-bought juice tasted significantly worse and honestly wasn't really too much of a price difference. Now, of course, you have to spend the $150 up front to buy this, but over time, if you use it enough, I think it's worth it. But if you're looking for something that's more frozen than juices like slushies, I also love the Ninja slushie machine, and I just made a video showing off 4 of my favorite slushies that you can find right here.